Hello, everybody, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, your executive producer here, and thanks for tuning in to watch or listen to whatever it is you're about to watch or listen to. In these trying times, we really do appreciate everyone that feels that we are worth their time, and we hope that we're able to give you something entertaining to while away the time as you spend it. We particularly want to thank those of you that feel like we're worth financially contributing to, particularly our $25 and up supporters on Patreon, who are Antitonic, Drevian Alexander, Cat Waterflame, Rowan Parker, and Samantha Bates. Yes, I read that off of a list. Thank you very much for supporting us. I know that in these uncertain times, finances are tough for everybody, so that you're willing to donate to us means a lot to all of us here, and we thank you. That being said, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. We're live! Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gran, Terra, Shadowfront. God damn it, Jack, you are blown out as fuck.
Yep, just noticed that.
So much light. Hi everybody, I'm John. I'm your game master for the evening. And joining me from apparently the surface of the sun is Jack, who's muted.
Now with much better lighting.
There we go.
I'm playing Gentmanar, the half-elf spellslinger.
And Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara, and I'm playing Titania Valkorian, a Ladrin Druid Princess.
And Cody, William, who I forgot to swap with Cody. Wait, hang on. Wait, I did it again. Wait, stop. Okay.
Did you just put us back in the same places?
I moved one down and then moved the same one back up. William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Valdeth, the Dwarven Samurai.
And Jeremy.
Hi, I am Jeremy. I'm playing Kalerna Elani, Drow Echo Knight.
And Cody.
Hi, I'm Cody. I'm playing Ithram Valar, Hobgoblin War Wizard.
Perfectly smooth. Nothing wrong happened at all. When last we left off, Titania discovered her ability to turn the entire party into sentient clouds about a day after it would have been more useful.
It was still useful.
Still,
yeah.
That's why I said more useful. It would have been, because you wouldn't have had to have waited around. You could have just gone across the channel. But
got to use the hot tub. It was fun.
But we have the Steelhearts are journeying north to try to find the mage Galadir Alunai, who is supposedly somewhere in the frozen north of Desolation. And along the way, they are stopping by the Duskreach Legion, Ithram's ancestral home and personal home, who are currently camped out at one of the various places that you can have camps in Desolation. They are currently traveling through the land of Desolation, which is this blasted wasteland where there's not a lot of life, and what is there is mostly going to kill you, such as the ancient blue dragons or the giant crabs and giant dinosaurs.
Makes me feel warm being home.
Until the sun falls, then it makes you feel cold.
Yes.
Mud crabs, terrible creatures.
But they've arrived. The Duskreach Legion is currently camped in a inside a wooden palisade that is sort of like in a semicircle connecting to a beach where there's sort of at the what has been referred to as the Adalian Sea, which is this sort of northern body of water on the other side of the peninsula that Kor sits on and the Kingdom of Adal sits on and the Umbral Forest sits on. Which, the Desolation sort of acts as the heel that connects this peninsula to the rest of the northern continent. So they're sitting at this, at sort of like at the end of where the water meets the land. And the biggest part of the structure that you can see, and the reason why you determined it's referred to as Iron Rock, is this large pillar of stone in sort of in the middle of the camp, around which the camp has sort of been constructed, and several tents are tied to it. And in fact, the large tent that Ithram pointed out, or that Ithram, well, actually couldn't have pointed out because you were all clouds. That Ithram noted as being where his parents likely were, is actually being supported on one side by this large rock, which even from a distance you can tell the glint of various metals sort of shining at places outside of the at places within the stony exterior. But you all landed in front right as the windwalking spell was fading, so you all very rapidly returned to physical form. At which point, a gruff voice called out from the palisades, "Who approaches the Duskreach Legion?" And looking up, you can see a pair of armed hobgoblins. They both look they're not quite as built as Ithram is. Ithram is fairly well broaded and also is fairly well fed. These two hobgoblins look much more almost emaciated, if it wasn't for the fact that as lean and almost as gaunt as they are, it's packed on with muscle. They look very much like they kind of have that same musculature as like weasels have, where they're like unhealthily skinny, but there's no fat; it's all just muscle.
Very wiry.
Yeah, very, very wiry, and they are wearing what appears to be some sort of uniform, consisting of blues, reds, and golds, and it is splint mail, where they're basically wearing like large leather tunics that have these bits of metal and wood stitched into them, forming this exterior curtain. If anyone's familiar with, I think it's old Korean like feudal Korean armor, where it's the sort of like a billeted plate kind of thing, where it's leather and metal stitched on top of each other. It's kind of like that.
Indeed.
Fun fact, Ithram is still wearing his Duskreach Legion armor.
And they have glaives, and they're just sort of standing on top of it. They're not like standing in a offensive manner. They are more of some people just appeared out of a cloud. That's weird.
Ithram will step forward and Ithram Volar, son of Vira and Kid Volar, here with the Steelheart Mercenary Company, led by motions to Valdeth. Valdeth Stonebeard, Thane of the Stonebeard of Morn, Titania Valkorian, Princess of Taram, Gent Minar, head of the Minar household, in Taram, and motions to Kalerna, and what's her last name?
Ilani.
Ilani. And Kalerna Ilani, Knight of the Azure Legion.
There is a bit of quick conversing atop the palisade before one leans down and into a horn and just blows, and there is this almost melodic echoing of this horn blowing across the camp, and you can sort of hear activity on the inside.
Everybody run. No, I'm just kidding.
It was not a two arms call.
Yeah, no, I know. I just wanted to make that joke.
After a few minutes, the gates, these sort of wooden grated gate sort of parts, and out steps a solitary figure that Ithram recognizes. This is a bit taller and a bit broader, but still that wiry, lean, almost emaciated look that the guards had on top. But where they were wearing sort of a full set of armor, this one is only really wearing, basically he's wearing the armor from the waist down, and it's very clearly a stripped down version of that armor with lots of the more protective aspects removed. On his bright red hobgoblin hide, you see little bits of gold glittering as if they've been embedded around his chest and forearms. Wearing a dark fur, like sort of a set of dark fur wrapped around his shoulder with dark black hair pulled up into a top knot, and basically mutton chops but no connecting hair on the front. Ithram, you recognize this as Onkar, your sort of teacher and also the leader of the Twilight mages?
Twilight mages.
Yeah. Who sort of walks out towards you all with this, even though the others don't recognize him, he has the saunter of someone who has walked through a million dangerous situations and come out unscathed. That particular kind of walk of there's nothing you can really do to hurt me. And as he sort of
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Gent wants to take a look and see, is that gold or are those scales?
Give me a perception check.
Okay.
I mean, we're very familiar with that saunter. We've used that saunter many a time.
It's hard to tell at this distance.
Okay.
It could be scales. It could be like sort of a scaly epidermis, or it could be some sort of weird piercing.
Okay.
It gets about 30 feet out from between the gates and you, and just in this very thick accent, Ithrim, Udaminya, which Ithrim, you know, means hit me. Which Ankar has a thing he does, where whenever a mage comes back, he wants them to hit him with their most damaging spell possible. Because he wants to judge whether or not they have grown enough to be worth his time.
You Brad Pitt, David Fincher movies, lines.
Most damaging spell. Let's see.
You have disintegrate?
No, I
Power word kill wouldn't work on him.
Yeah. So
disintegrate would be a good spell if you had it, but
yeah, no, I have chain lightning though. It's just gonna, when it forks off, it's just gonna fork off into the sky though.
Okay.
So yeah, he takes a moment and gathers a bit of you guys see some electricity start to build at his feet up to his hands.
And I don't think any of the rest of you speak Hobgoblin, do you?
Nope.
I am pretty sure that I do not, but let me check. Nope.
So yeah, you guys have no idea what's going on. Ithrim's just getting ready to attack this guy.
41 points of damage, lightning.
Let me take a look real quick. It's a saving throw, correct?
Yeah, DC 17.
Dexterity save?
Yep.
Yes.
For half?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Where is his character
Not
sheet?
horrible rolls.
Where are you? There you are.
No, for a baseline chain lightning, it's not too bad at all.
It's like slightly below average.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the ones.
Yeah, like perfectly average would have been 45. You're just barely below average.
So he succeeds. He takes half damage. As so this lightning just rockets out from Ithrim, strikes him, and he just sort of like, there's just like a bit of static electricity pops off of him as it rockets into the sky, and there's a little bit of singeing smoke coming off of his hair. And he sort of takes a minute. He looks almost like he's swirling something around in his mouth. Spits a little bit of blood on the ground. Goroshi, which means good. So, and he waves you on over. Welcome to the Duskreach Legion. The Steelhearts, did I hear correctly?
Yes.
That's right.
Onkal the Hunter. I am the leader of the Twilight Magos of the Duskreach Legion. This one's superior. And as you get closer, you can tell definitely those are scales. Golden dragon scales, sort of just where you would expect body hair to be.
Yeah.
Well, what brings you all to our encampment? As he starts sort of leading you in, you notice that he doesn't seem to be carrying any weapons. The only like external object that he's carrying on him is what appears to be a shard of obsidian that is wrapped in leather with this weird red gem that almost looks like there's fire inside of it attached to it, and a vial of what looks like blood dangling from it on a string, and a golden ring on one finger. And that's all. That's basically all he's wearing outside of his clothes.
We're heading north into the frozen wastes, and Ithram figured it might be a wise idea to stop by here, say hello to family, maybe see if you might know anything about the region.
And we had inquiries of my mother of planar travel and attunements.
I see. Well, let's take you to your mother. Your sister is actually scouting north, looking into the necromancers, who have an encampment between here and the frozen north. So,
So they have they moved in the way recently, or
not specifically in the way from us, but they are closer than we would like. So,
has there been any news from the Umbral Forest?
no. We're too far north for that, though. We have not been south in some 5 summers at the very least. And come, welcome to the Duskreach Legion, all of you Steelhearts. And he sort of leads you through, and you see this. This is very clearly, you can all recognize a military encampment. Like all of the tents are put up very orderly and regimented. There's a clear walkways and pathways through everything. Nothing is left out and unattended. There's a variety. All of the hobgoblins you see are in some form of armor, ranging from the full set that you saw the guards on the wall had to the sort of like broken down, what you're assuming is the mage variant that that Ankar is wearing. And they're all going about their duties. They give a salute to Ankar and Ithram as you pass by, but don't really bother saying much to you directly. You do hear a few mutterings going on, and there seems to be a bit of interest in Titania in specific. As you guys are walking past, lots of what you would assume to be the younger hobgoblins seem to be like occasionally stopping whatever they're doing just to watch as you walk past, and they're definitely watching Titania.
Probably the mushrooms.
Who knows?
Ithram, you know that the Duskreach Legion has no idea what the royal hierarchy of Taram looks like. So you introduce Titania as Princess of Taram. So that's probably why they're staring.
Yeah.
They have no idea that she is one of many.
Yeah.
One of many, many, many princesses.
But very shortly, you find yourself standing at the base of this massive, pillar of stone, and in front of the largest of all the tents. It's this large, fairly almost box-like. The walls go up about 15 feet. The walls of the tent go about 15 feet, and then there's not really like a steeple. It just goes flat and then across over to the stone. The front curtains of which are pulled over, and you can see the banner of the Duskreach Legion hanging off of one side of the entryway here.
Given that this is a military encampment, does this look like a command tent?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely looks like, and it's central, so like you imagine very quickly you could get to any part of the camp from here. And also in order to get here from any part of the camp, you'd have to pass by all the soldiers that you just saw. So it is very much centralized. Like you can tell the entire camp is built around this tent. And you all, Ankar just sort of pats Ithram on the shoulder. I'll go in and say hello. You have the gift.
Yes.
Good. Your sister hasn't made it back yet, so I'm going to go wait on the wall. She's supposed to be back today.
All right.
The younger ones are training, so you probably won't see them inside.
Yes. Have they been assigned, or have they chosen the areas yet?
Not yet. Still learning. Still going through basics.
Yes. The fun stuff.
But enjoy your reunion. And he just waves to the rest of you and trots off. Again, never breaking that swagger.
I'll pull out my tombstone and the hammer.
All right. And the group of you walk into the tent. The first thing you notice upon walking into the tent is immediately to the left there is what appears to be a boulder. Well, it's like what is very clearly like a bunch of rugs thrown over a boulder, and sitting atop of it is a very small, roughly about 5'2", very gaunt and thin female hobgoblin, which Ithram you recognize as your mother, Avira, who is just sort of toying with with a dagger kind of in one hand, and you can see resting against on the floor, resting against this boulder that she's sitting on, is a large ornate glaive that has a ruby sort of embedded into the blade that looks very similar to the ruby Ithram has on his flail. She's wearing very similar to what Ankar was wearing, this sort of half down armored thing with except where Ankar was bare chested, she sort of got cloth wrapped around her torso, but bare shoulder otherwise. Who looks up? Ithram,
Mother,
you made good time.
we have Lady Titania to thank for that.
Well, a pleasure to meet all of you. The Steelhearts, I assume.
That is correct, aye.
We have been told much through Mal. Cad! And you just hear a rumbling from the back of the tent where there is this curtain, which parts, and out walks the largest hobgoblin any of you have ever seen. Ithram is fairly tall and fairly broad. This person looks like he could eat Ithram 3 times over. Just rippling muscle and still weirdly gaunt looking for being as tall and as wide as he is. With a full beard connecting from the sides down to his chin, a full head of hair that where Ankar's was just a top knot, this is a long flowing ponytail that hangs down to about his waist level in the back. Golden eyes, this sort of very piercing golden eyes, and no mustache to speak of, but a very strong face, and you can instantly see the resemblance between Ithram and this man, who wearing similarly the half down armor with cloth wraps around his abdomen, around his abs, who just walks out, arms folded, massive meaty arms folded, looks down at Ithram. Ithram?
Greetings, Father. I'll bow and present the 2 gifts in front. This is for the Legion.
Reaches out, takes the tombstone, which looks almost like a toy in his hands.
Yeah. It has 2 spells of my own creation to be passed among the magus.
He was just...
Also, don't you have dunamancy on that tombstone as well?
Yeah, there are also new forms of magic that I have been allowed to learn.
Holding it with just like 3 fingers like this. He just sort of flicks it over towards your mom, who catches it and starts fiddling with it, and then he takes the hammer.
This is for the armory of the Legion. It is made of ironwood from Eleonora.
Ilhanador.
Ilhanador. What the fuck was that?
Il something fucker.
Yeah.
Il something. Looks at it. This is very well made, Ithram. You do the Legion proud. I assume you passed Onkar's test.
He would not have let me in without it.
Good. Well, welcome, Steelhearts, to the Duskreach Legion. I am Warlord Kedvolar, Ithrim's father. I trust you have been taking care of my son. And he walks over to this large throne that is just sort of draped in rugs and carpets and sits in it heavily. Still sort of testing the weight of the hammer in one hand.
Certainly. I'm Valdez Stonebeard, Thane of the Stonebeard clan of, as I forget my own city's name,
Morn.
of Everstone. Of Everstone is the city.
Everstone, yeah.
Yeah. This is Princess Titania Valkorian of Terram. This is Skint Minar, head of House Minar of Terram, and Kalerna Ilani of the Azure Legion. And yes, we've been fighting alongside Ithram for some time now. His magic's been invaluable, and we've been a solid team together.
Just for the hell of it, make a persuasion check.
Yay, I get my advantage.
Double
23.
Looks down at it, looks down at the hammer, looks up at you. Well, you travel in quite auspicious company, Ithrim.
I have been most fortunate.
Puts the hammer down. So, what brings you to our humble camp?
Well, just instigates to Ithram.
We are traveling north, investigating some rumors we have heard, and on the way, we had questions of planar travel that I thought the first person I thought of that could help us was Mother.
She sort of looking through this tombstone. Oh, this is very nice, Ithram. Yes, I think we will be able to make use of this. The spells are okay too, but she says with a little grin. Well, I'm sure your mother will be happy to assist you. You have proven an asset to the Legion, and thus the Legion provides its assets to you. You're heading north towards the frozen wastes.
Yes. There is supposed to be a wizard far north in the frozen wastes that we must locate and see if we can glean information from or about.
We have not sent anybody outside of Desolation to the north in quite some time, so we have no current information for you. We have been keeping an eye on the
Withered Green Legion?
Yes, the withered withered, is it Withered Green? I'm trying to find my notes.
I think it's Withered Grin.
Withered Grin. Yes. We have been keeping an eye on the Withered Green ever since you've provided the information about them.
I have it written in my notes as green, but that might have just been the accent that you were using at the time.
Very probably.
Makes more sense now.
They have set up camp currently northeast of here. 2 days walk, from which scouting Deirdre should be returning today. We have not been yet able to ascertain what, if any, objective they have at the moment. They simply seem to be traveling as standard for all legions in the area. They've been paying their tribute to Azerth, and have not been causing trouble.
Have you, well, we may have seen or heard Azerth the night previous, or at least one of his brood is in that area to the south by the cliffs, just so that you're aware.
He has been setting up, he moved his lair last year, I believe, further south. So I would not be surprised if it was him or one of his brood.
Okay.
We have actually our tribute day is approaching, so we've been gathering what resources we could, which is why we are here. The ground beneath Iron Rock is filled with all manner of minerals that will be valuable to the Dragon's Horde.
Yes.
Well,
Stefan.
aside from basic reconnaissance and providing you a place to sleep, and of course your mother helping you with whatever it is you need, is there something specific you would require from the Legion on your way north?
Honestly, if you've got warmer clothes, that'd be appreciated.
Yes, we came in a bit of a rush, so the travel has been quick, but the nights were the night.
Yes, we can provide some warmer clothes. Send your people to the tailors and have them get fitted for some cold weather gear. You'll need it, especially if you're going into the frozen wastes.
Yes. if I could take a look through the armory.
It is available to you. We have nothing spectacular at the moment, but if there's
Yes.
something you need, you are allowed to it. The same goes for your friends. The Steelhearts are welcome to our hospitality.
I might take you up if there's a designated workshop area in your camps here.
The closest thing we have to a workshop is Onkar's battleground.
Fair enough, I'll make do.
Simply ask after Onkar.
Does anybody have any requests or questions?
And to dress light and carry light, and I've got enough rations for us for a while, so I don't have much that I need.
How many rations do we
I
have?
am quite fine, thank you.
I have
Oh yeah, we got a whole bunch, didn't we?
yeah, I have I have 30 beads of nourishment, which is a full day's rations each
I'm trying to
that don't
remember.
expire.
Do
So,
you have any druids here?
not in so much in our legion, no. There are those who have in the past practiced druidic arts, but we do not. This land is not particularly kind to druids.
No, yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Well, if you have no further questions, we will have someone show you to some tents that you can use for the night, and then to the tailors.
Thank you very much.
He just sort of doesn't really. He sort of like looks over your shoulders, grabs that hammer and tosses it, and there's a and there's a like from outside, and then very quickly, some a younger hobgoblin rubbing the back of his head steps into the tent. You called, Warlord.
Just throw the hammer. Whoever it hits comes and does what I need them to.
Basically. Take that hammer to the armory, and on your way, take these to our guest tents. Then see them to tailors so that they can get some cold weather clothing. Yes, Warlord. Please come with me.
It's officially
Well,
called the chore hammer from now on.
Yeah. That is my father's version of the sending spell.
And you can all see while you're standing there. You can also see hung up on either side of this throne that he's sitting on are these massive piles of chain, each of which ends in what seems like some sort of metal sphere that is roughly the size of Valdeth each.
He has a giant meteor hammer as his primary weapon.
2 giant meteor hammers.
Well, the meteor hammer is the one that's the chain with balls on both ends.
No, meteor hammers with one really big ball. I think there might be a version that has balls on both ends, but either way,
He's got
There's 4
two.
balls.
he has 2 balls on 2 chains, which are just sort of sitting on either side, and you can see faint little bits of arcane marking on them.
No, we just want that Star Trek: The Next Generation meme with Patrick Stewart. Instead of saying there are 4 lights, there are 4
Right.
balls.
There are 4 balls.
4 balls.
But the young hobgoblin leads you out, but a few short steps away from the command tent to these fairly Spartan but well-appointed tents that are empty. Inside, there's just a series of cots with a simple small mattress and a few blankets on it, and one large chest in the corner that's empty. Yes, feel free to make yourselves at home. I will go let the tailors know that they are to be beginning to work on you, and then we will have someone take you to them. I need to get this to the armory. As he sort of runs
Thank
off
you.
with the hammer.
Thanks, bye.
Yeah, you are all left in the guest tent.
Wow. This is where you grew up?
Yes.
So, are your parents the leaders of the Legion?
For now, yes.
Has that position changed regularly?
Not regularly, but it does have the potential to change.
Were they the leaders of the Legion when you were born?
Yes, they were.
I guess that makes you something of a noble yourself. Maybe not on the same terms, but
I wouldn't say.
Congratulations, we'll give you the handshake, the secret handshake. You know.
There's a special drink that you have to drink, and if it kills you, you don't get to be a noble anymore.
Oh. I look forward to it. But
It's called alcohol. Sometimes it takes a while, but it gets all of us in the end.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
But yes, no, it does have the potential to change, but since I believe before my sister was born, my father was a warlord.
You know he's been challenged at least 4 times since you were born.
Yeah, I've probably watched a couple. Like he has been challenged, but obviously he's still there.
How many siblings do you have?
Let me check my notes. I have 3 siblings. I just don't remember their names right off the top of my head.
That's
27.
okay.
Yeah, I have 3.
We literally know nothing about you.
Yeah,
So.
I have 3
This is
siblings.
the Ithram learning arc.
I have 2 sisters and 1 younger brother.
could you have an older sister and a younger sister?
Yes. I have their names written somewhere. Where the fuck?
They're in the bio section of your character sheet.
Yep. There we go.
Deirdre, Kadan, and Viara.
Yeah. Yep. I just scrolled right past them because Roll20 likes to do that.
Yeah.
My older sister, who you heard Ankar mention, Deirdre. My younger brother Kadan and younger sister Viara. Those 2 are twins.
Oh, and you also would have noticed Ankar had a tattoo on his left shoulder, which was the new moon.
Okay.
Which is the Devastators.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what that means, but maybe it's relevant to you.
Ithram knows what it means.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, you say Devastators. I guess I think, oh, so he's the Marine who carries the heavy bolter.
Not wrong. It's just not a bolter.
The Legion just sort of like travels around here, and there's like the
Each Legion has their
Green.
territory.
Okay.
And we patrol our territories. Sometimes fight. Others just patrol territories to hunt creatures, or they patrol their territories specifically looking for fights. We just like to travel. We don't go out looking for fights, but we also are not one to shy away from them.
And also, there's the necessity of travel because you don't want to over harvest resources in any one area because there's not a lot to go around.
Seems that tribute to Azerth is a baseline motivation for life here as well.
Yes, as most stories would say, one tends to not want to fuck over or fuck with a dragon of any significant reputation, and Azerth is one of those dragons.
Is it
And
pay the taxes, I don't eat you kind of thing, or?
Yes, more that end, or pay the taxes, or I utterly destroy your entire encampment. And spread the story.
Right.
But yes.
Gent's like, all right, to destabilize desolation, kill one ancient blue dragon. Watch ensuing chaos.
See what happens to that power vacuum.
But yeah, you guys,
Right?
anybody that saw Ankar's tattoo, Ithram doesn't have one of those tattoos. He also doesn't have on the pauldrons of his armor, he has the full spectrum of the lunar cycle. So that's
Interesting.
yep.
So what are these moon tattoos?
Designation within the Magus. The one you saw in Ankar means he's a devastator, which means he specializes in evocation magics. Mine, he points to his. I'm a novitiate. I have no designation yet. I was sent out before I was assigned or chose one. You get to do either.
I mean, considering your expertise in the battlefield, I feel like you're probably marked out for a devastator as well.
Those are more what my spells are geared towards. Yes, there's a heavy focus on battle magic in this environment.
Does he give that same test to everyone regardless of their calling?
Yes.
I feel like that's a bit of a, like if any of them focused on illusion magic, I feel like that's a bit rigged against them.
It's not so much, it's your most powerful spell, what you have learned of the magic.
Fair enough.
So what you're saying
You
is
can
that
still do quite a bit of damage with illusion magic.
Hmm.
I like the idea that the conjuration wizards come back and we just don't see him for a couple months.
You know that the last conjuration wizard that he tested failed because he summoned a fire elemental, and he learned then that Ankar is immune to fire.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, banishment or gate or some shit, Ankar's halfway across the world. He'll be back when he's ready.
Few of them get that powerful. Also, Ankar is very resilient to magic.
Fair enough.
Yes, he is the head of the Magus. But
What would your mother's role be then?
let's see, where was it? Let's scroll down farther past it. Conjure is, can't remember if I'd come up with it or did you come up with it?
I've only designated the Devastator. I haven't designated.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
The Conjurer is a full moon.
I see. Has a member of the Magus ever been the warlord also, or are those two sort of kept separate?
They're kept separate, but the Magus could become warlord.
Several of them
And then
have
someone
tried.
else would step in
Yeah.
to.
There have been Maguses that have tried, Magi that have tried, but
None have succeeded yet. I take
Yes.
it.
Large metal
At least not
balls
against-
make a pretty good counterspell, I would wager.
yes, they do. They're quite effective at any concentration. It's hard to concentrate when you're broken in half. But
I see where you take after both of your parents in combat style, she says, indicating your flail.
yes, just a bit. When you see something wielded that effectively, you think, hey, maybe I can do it. And then you try it, and then you realize that shit is heavy.
So you make something smaller and more reasonable.
Yes.
Yeah, those are two-handed weapons. He just wields them with one hand.
Ah, he's got Titan's grip. Gotcha.
After a few moments, the curtain
Tent flap.
the tent flap rustles, and there is what looks to be probably a relative to humans, like a 12-year-old female hobgoblin that doesn't even have the tusks yet, that most hobgoblins have, which Ithram you recognize as Viara.
Hmm.
She's 13, but she looks younger than she is.
Yeah.
Ithram, you and your friends
Yes.
are expected.
It's good to see you too.
He
Let's
sort of
go this
smiles
way.
and trots off.
All right. This way.
Going to give that child a gun.
She very as she sort of like, you can see as she sort of like skip hopping ahead of you, she's just occasionally like flicking her hand around, and there is this little ball of water that's just sort of flying around her as she does this, that occasionally freezes into an ice cube and drops, and then reforms into water and flicks back over, and then freezes into an ice cube and drops and goes back into water and flicks back over. She's just sort of like casually waving her hands around while skipping.
Little warm fuzzies in his heart.
So you're gonna give her a gun and make her Shuri to Ithram's T'Challa?
Yep.
Ithram, why is everyone staring?
Probably because I introduced you as the Princess of Thram. I should probably let my father know to explain if there's any questions that there are many princesses in Thram.
I have to.
and then are you uncomfortable with the stairs?
No, it's just weird.
They shouldn't last long either,
Okay.
but probably most of the time we're here.
Very quickly you get to another tent. This tent is like very clearly set up for sewing. There's a large loom on the inside where people are putting things together, and like there's bolts of cloth and furs all over the place, and one very small hobgoblin woman that looks like she fell off of a charm bracelet, which is my favorite description for an old lady. Who just sort of like ushers you in and instantly begins taking measurements. Her arms are as long as she is tall, so it's very weird to have that tape go up to your shoulder, even though she doesn't reach that far. Like her head doesn't reach that far. And as she's taking measurements, Titania, the little girl that was there, wanders up to you and flicks her hand, and the water forms into a flower and freezes.
Ooh.
And she hands it up to you.
Thank you. I will reciprocate and druidcraft a bunch of probably very similar. Actually, something that I haven't seen here. Yeah.
Any vegetation.
Any
vegetation.
Here's a head of lettuce.
What?
I'm gonna do a bunch of dandelions, and I want them to like go through the full cycle of like bloom, wilt into the puffball, and then kind of
wide-eyed. Just,
yeah.
can all princesses make flowers?
Not all of them, but sometimes.
Very pretty.
This is too. Thank you.
You're welcome. We've never had a princess before.
Gent leans over. She's never had a flower made of ice before, so that's magnificent.
No.
It's my specialty.
It's
Very nice.
Very good.
You've been practicing.
Mm-hmm. she just sort of sits on a box and like watches as you guys get clothes made. Very quickly, this team of seamstresses like throws some cloth together, stitches some fur into a lining. It's quick enough to be
industrial
considered magical.
tailoring.
Yeah, like it's quick enough to be considered magic. And
yeah.
very swiftly, you all have very warm cloaks and robes provided.
Ooh.
And this the old hobgoblin. Wear these over your armor, or under if your armor is loose enough. This will keep you warm at night. Recommend taking it off during day. At least until you get wherever you're going, if it's more consistent.
Thank
It
you.
will be.
Yes, we're headed far north. This should become invaluable.
You need boots then, too. Hang on. She goes over and starts, like, stitching fur into a boot. Congratulations, you're all getting Uggs now.
Hey, Uggs are better than frozen feet.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
And again,
Having tasted both, absolutely.
just as quickly, you all have fur-lined boots. If you need anything further, please let us know. We have plenty of material from this past winter.
Good to know.
Hmm.
Good to see that we've been doing well.
That's a disturbing concept when you say you have extra animal material from winter.
Yes.
That wasn't in character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well.
Gen's just gonna ask, is this something we pay for, Ephraim? How much are we?
We've been afforded.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys haven't seen money change hands at all since you've been here.
The society works for itself.
Well, thank
Now,
you.
that should help with the cold weather, at least.
Yes.
No problem. Let me know if you need more.
Thank you.
Appreciate the help.
VR looks up at Ithram. Are you going to go to the battleground?
I think I might stop by.
You should. Kadan is there.
Oh. How's that been going for both of you?
For me, easy. For him, not so much.
All right, I'll have to see for myself then.
Does he have the mind of a warrior rather than a mage?
No. He has the mind of, She thinks for a second. It's just mind of Ucheni. Which Ithram, in Hobgoblin means, is effectively someone who thinks a lot. You would translate it to like a scientist or a scholar.
Yeah.
He's got the mind of a nerd.
More theory, less practice.
Yeah.
A brain person.
Yeah.
He's a fucking egghead.
He's a tactician.
That's one way to put it.
All right.
Onkar says he has mind of target dummy.
That's unfortunate. That is something he will have to remedy soon. If anybody is welcome to come with to see this battleground.
Apparently, that's where you go to work on material projects. So I'll be coming along. Absolutely.
Yes,
I
it's
would be
near.
happy
It's
to go.
You want us to do some showing off for you, Ithram?
If anybody challenges you, feel free. It's very likely that it could happen. But yes, let's lead the way, Viara.
Okay. Hops down. Skip hops along. Another bit of water is now like flowing back and forth, being frozen and thawed.
Notably, Valdeth does keep the Dracolich spine blade on her back rather than in her armory, just because it provides the immunity to fear while it's on her. So, big sword is obvious.
Yeah.
While we're walking there, and she's practicing doing the water and changing it to ice in midair, Ithram's just gonna like message and be like, "Don't lose concentration. Don't get distracted." Which he can do faster because he's got the illusionist bracers, but he only does it a couple times.
She's like, Ithram, you're not nearly as distracting as Onkar is.
I'm not trying to be, but it's good to know that you at least can maintain.
It's easier.
So, sorry, she
Okay.
looks over to Ithram. So what did they mean when they said that they had a lot of material from the winter?
Well, we still measure seasons.
Yeah,
so
but in my experience, animals are harder to find during winter.
there's not very many places to hide in desolation to begin with. So,
Yeah.
Hibernating animals are easy targets.
yes, and those that hibernate are, once you find them, they're very slow to get up and try to get away. So,
Fair enough. I was just concerned that this leather and hide might have been made from, those who did not manage to eat.
No, it's nothing of that sort.
I mean, not that I would have held anything against a culture that does it. That seems like a very much a sort of, use all parts of the buffalo kind of situation. But
As desolation turns into a gameplay simulation of the forest.
Sans trees.
Right? Everything's made out of people.
So you get to a spot, sort of what has been basically determined to be the far corner of the encampment, of an encampment that has no corners. So, but it's the beach. It's the far end of the encampment and along the palisade at the beach, and there are just craters scattered about in various places, bits of broken metal and wood. Bits of broken hobgoblin, as a few people are like picking each other up after having been in various stages of combat. This is the training ground, it would seem. And Kent, you sort of see what they were talking about, where like off to one side there's like an anvil and forge that's been set up out in the open, where they are repairing things that have been broken in the battleground.
Yeah, he's just looking for a place where he can find some fire to cast some ammo, basically.
Yeah, that's exactly what you can find right over there.
All right, good stuff. That's what he's after.
Yeah, and so yeah, you can see there's plenty of adults that are out here training, and most of them are set up with sort of a one-on-one sparring situation with a mage off to one side. And Ithram, you know that the mage's duty in that particular situation is to add chaos.
Yep. Oh, Volar's bombardment should help with that immensely in the coming generations.
Because the objective here is to fight each other, to spar with each other while on a battlefield. That's why it's called the battlegrounds. Which is to say, just because you're fighting one person doesn't mean other people aren't trying to kill you too.
Yeah, in a battle, there is no such thing as a fair fight.
And there's no such thing as safe ground either.
Exactly. Run to the nearest tree. Safe.
Yeah, no. It's just
tree gets blown away.
That's why there are no trees.
Yep.
And then a little bit further, sort of in the water, you can see another set of people that are training for for various environmental things. And there you can see Kadan, who for everyone else there's a hobgoblin child that looks like Ithram but 13. Like it's like shrink mini version of Ithram, basically. He was just sort of sitting off to one side, digging at the ground with a wooden sword, while a Twilight Magus is sort of like kneeling down next to him, chatting.
I'll wait for him to start one round, or whatever next round he's about to do, and then when the mage steps back, I'll walk over to the mage and see, do I recognize this one?
You don't recognize it personally, but you can tell it's a conjurer.
Okay.
Who's actually while they're sort of crouched down, sort of reach a hand out, grab some sand and dirt from the beach, lift their hand up and pour it down. And as they pour it down, the sand and gravel looks almost like it's pouring over a figure. And as all of it hits the ground, there is this small dust mephit just sort of like shaking itself loose from the gravel.
All right.
Which the Magus steps back and Kadan readies his wooden training sword.
All right. Yeah, I'll walk over to the mage and in a way so that I won't draw Kadan's attention, and then see if I can. So how is his progress? What is?
Oh, Ithrim. Welcome back.
Yes, good to be back.
Progress is slow. This one is a thinker, not a fighter. Probably going to try to get him with some of the tinkerers and see if they can draw out his potential somewhere else. We have the feeling that this one is going to be building more than destroying. It says as you watch Kadan with the sword, just like just like trying to wail on this dust method, who's just very easily evading all of the strikes.
I know of a tinkerer.
Gonna say, speaking of which,
Yeah.
if Gent is seeing this happen, he'll let the kid do about 5 misses and then just shoot the method out of the air. If he can.
Make an attack roll.
He's gonna use focus fire because he doesn't want to fuck this up.
You shoot the kid. Oh god.
Yeah, don't shoot my brother.
Right? I do not want to accidentally murder Ithrim's little brother.
No, that did not turn out as
Because guess who's going to learn disintegrate real quick?
It was a fucking accident.
So was this. Disintegrate. Sorry, finger of death. Yeah, with a 24, yeah, no, there's a loud report as the gun fires and then dust method just vanishes in a pile of gravel.
Then just make eye contact with the kid, spin and holster, and then walk over to the forge.
And on looks over at you, looks down at the sword, looks back up.
And that's when I'll be like, yes, they are quite useful.
Oh, Ithrim! Trots over.
How are you, Kadan?
I'm okay.
I see you're making strides, and I pat his back.
I am trying my best.
Yes.
My best is not very good.
Hey,
As long as you keep trying.
As long as you keep trying, that's all that matters.
I am a realist. Keep trying is not going to work.
It takes quite a while to get good at something, so
I do not have the knack that sister does. Or Deirdre.
I don't know where middle schoolers are the best. I'm a realist.
Everything's shit. Why do I try?
This kid is going to be listening to Hobgoblin Nirvana.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Listen, you haven't seen enough of reality to really be a realist. I'll give you that much.
He sort of shrugs.
But you might be onto something that you might be trying to approach this from the wrong angle. Try something new. Maybe you'll find your calling.
You have to have a wide range of experiences to find out what you're best suited for.
Yes, but father and Deirdre are good with weapons. You and Viara and Mother are good with magic. I'm good with neither.
So we find what you are good at.
Go talk to that half
Yes.
elf.
The one that just shot the method.
That was very impressive. It wasn't very loud. Not very subtle.
Yes, it is not. Yeah, subtlety is not something that is
Not his forte.
equipped for. Yes, that is a bell that the fight is on. There is no turning back after that is fired.
I wonder if there would be a way to make it quiet.
Probably. Magic is quite wide.
Could put a pillow on it.
Well, how about you go over there and you suggest that to Gent? I'm sure he is in desperate need of innovation and fresh ideas.
Okay, and he just sort of trots off over in that direction. He's a very he's a very earnest and like straightforward kid. He's just like, I'm looking at all these warriors and mages around me, and I am definitely not one of those.
Yeah.
She could be a tinker.
Again, this small hobgoblin child walks up to you and just like walks straight up to you. Have you considered duct taping like a pillow to that gun?
Tape.
You know, that's not a bad idea. Problem is, traveling through a solid object might throw off the aim of the ammunition. What you would need is some sort of containment mechanism, because the noise is created by the explosion of ignited gases from the muzzle of the firearm.
So you put a hollow pillow on it.
Basically, but probably made of metal, so that it actually stays attached and you don't have to hold your arm out.
And then it has some sort of point on it. It would be like a hollow point on the end of the gun.
It sounds like
Sort
something
of.
that would be very useful in plays, and they like to explain such a thing, but it's not actually effective in real life. I'm just saying, silencers are bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're not nearly as-
suppressors do something.
Yeah,
they help, but they don't. They
you
do
can
not make
still
it
hear it like
silent.
a football field away.
Like
Yes, you can still
it
hear
goes
the
from
football
a
field.
gun going off to someone beating the shit out of a tin can.
It doesn't go to.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't
It's
go to
not
the
a
whisper
hiss.
sound.
It's a very loud clack.
But more importantly,
that travels.
More importantly, it also distributes the sound differently, so it's harder to pinpoint
Yes.
where it's coming from.
Yeah, to be clear, silencers and suppressors, like, they have their use. I just love how many people think that if you put a tube on the end of a gun,
It
it's
makes
suddenly
it
silent.
The 13-year-old kid, okay?
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be
Alternatively,
whisper
just-
quiet, but it'll be quieter.
Alternatively, there's the concept that I need to talk about with your brother, which is taking one of those silence spells, making it smaller, and enchanting just the tip of the gun.
Mother says never use just the tip.
Your mother's very wise.
Also, the sound of the gun comes from more than just the barrel, so you know.
Perhaps could combine some sort of magic and an object and attach it to the gun.
Have you heard of the Is It League, young man?
I do not think I've heard of that legion, no.
They are, as you say, sort of like a legion, but they live in a very large city called Terra, which is where I'm from, and all they do all day is figure out ways to mix magic and technology.
Are you the princess?
No, that's her over there.
Oh. I heard there was a princess. I did not hear who it was.
I'm very flattered that you thought it might have been me. Would you like to see how I make the bullets for this thing?
Yes.
Let's get started.
So that happens over there.
Yep.
Aethrin?
Yeah, I've seen him. Let's see. Yeah. Is anybody looking for a fight? I mean, I'm sure there's always somebody looking for one.
Not at the moment. Mostly it's sort of hard. Make an insight check real quick.
All right. Insight. I have such a high modifier for that. Oh, not an advantage though.
I mean, that's still the first
Still,
one you
yes.
rolled, though.
19.
still
Yeah.
a 19. My plus one.
Yeah. Hey, roll an 18. Roll a plus one.
Yep.
19. You get the sense that they are actively gearing up for a potential conflict, which it makes sense around tribute time. They are currently in preparation mode for if Azerth doesn't like what they give.
Okay.
So you're not going to find a whole lot of people that are like just going to free spar for no effort, for no
Yeah.
reason. They are very diligently doing drills and training, and
All right.
you notice there's a lot of lightning being thrown around by the assistant mages. So
Yeah.
So how far away is this tribute? Valdeth will ask to the mage who's standing next to Ithrim.
3 days.
I look over at Ithrim. Do we want to hang around for that long? Maybe lend a hand if things go south.
If you would be comfortable with that, if it's been some time since I've been around for a tribute, so more hands can't hurt. I would suppose we could talk to my father.
If you're going to stay, you're going to want to stay hidden when the dragon arrives. They pay tribute based on the contents of the Legion, and outsiders
correct.
would rearrange the equation.
Yes.
We'll ask your father if he'd rather we stay around to maybe help or just take off so there's no chance of the dragon noticing us.
What is the tribute?
What we've gathered throughout the year.
Okay.
It could be minerals, materials, weapons.
Oh yeah, they were
gold.
mining.
Yes.
I think I could help with that. With the rock shaping spell I used the other day. Possibly?
Oh.
Right?
Yes, I don't know if anybody has that spell in my...
I mean, they did mention that druids were a little short on supply in here, so...
Yeah.
You do know that your mother specializes in earth magics. Her, aside from conjuring...
Yeah, elementals.
And, like she conjures earth elementals for one. But like aside from conjuring earth elementals, she... like most of her like offensive repertoire is earth based. In fact, there's a cantrip that you're sort of, that you think about it, you recall that there's a cantrip that you had never learned from her, where she basically encases her fist in stone and punches something really hard.
Might have to pick that up on my way through here. See if I can now. More help will definitely be welcome.
It's at roughly this point that you hear the sound of a boulder rolling.
Is it coming towards us?
Yeah.
Is it an actual boulder? Or is it
I
just,
move out of the way.
You sort of look over towards where the sound is, and you see Ithrim's mother. That large boulder that she was sitting on is moving.
Oh.
I get out of the way.
It stops well before it gets to you. Like,
okay,
yeah.
I wouldn't put it past this legion to be like, surprise, dodge the boulder.
No, she's actively writing on it. Like, she's just sort of like reclining on the boulder, looking through the tombstone Ithrim gave her. So, Ithrim, what is it that you requested of me? That you would request of me?
Oh, Lady Titania the possibility of us using planar travel is going to be coming into more likelihood soon. So we had questions on how to attune certain items to planes and if there was any specific requirements necessary.
I believe also because she's a conjuration wizard, you were looking for her help getting the planar attunement things.
Yeah.
I mean, the attunement of the items. So if you have the objects in question, the attunement of the items is not too terribly difficult once the denizen of the plane you're looking for has been appropriately summoned and tamed.
Okay. Do you have any questions, Titania?
Oh goodness. A demon. I'm trying to remember what the plan was. There was a couple different options thrown about. So.
Well, we needed a fiend of some kind to get the attunement done.
Yeah.
Because we eventually need to travel to the lower plane that is the combined hell and abyss in this setting.
I can do a planar binding. Ithrim, you were saying a magic circle, right?
Yes, a magic circle would be able to hold a creature like that inside.
Are you looking to learn these spells, Ithram?
Yes, if I could learn the magic circle. I have the means. I have the spell to bind such creatures, but I don't have the circle to keep them
Oh.
in one area.
Well, your tribute entitles you to assistance, though I would say it's not quite enough for a spell from my book. I will assist you in attuning if you have one such fork. Which I think you guys bought some, didn't you?
Yeah, we bought several.
Yeah.
I will help you with the attunements. In return, you must bring me something rare and unusual from the plane.
We'll do this.
And then I will give you spells from my book.
Okay.
Well, shall we prepare the circle? She hops off the boulder that she was sitting on. Johnson, go build the circle. And this boulder stands up. And you realize that the boulder covered in rugs is an earth elemental.
God damn it, John. I make the punt. No, I'm just kidding.
As this large earth elemental sort of walks around towards the beach. You will prepare a circle, and then I will enchant it, and then we will summon the thing that you need.
Wait, right now?
Why not?
Okay. So we're summoning. Can you conjure the thing, or?
Yes.
She
Okay.
can summon many different beings.
Okay, I can't do planar binding today.
I can.
Okay.
That is how my earth elemental works. He is bound to me for a
Oh.
year and a day.
Oh. I see.
Good, come along. And she starts walking after the earth elemental. Come, you two.
Yep, I'll come with.
I'll follow along. Want to see this?
You have the fork. You have the attunement fork.
Yes.
Yes. Bring it out.
Yep. Pull it out.
And
hand
yeah,
it over.
as you're walking over, like, you can see that the earth elemental is like engraving. It's like sort of flowing through the ground in a circular pattern, and as it does, there's like runes being left behind it in its wake as it's carving the ground up in this sort of like very swift motion before it
Cool.
emerges whole from the earth, and there is this large magic circle in place. She walks over to it. She's got that glaive that she had earlier, which she spins around, stabs into the earth, says a few things in Hobgoblin, and the carved circle lights up. So, what is it you want to summon? A fiend?
What was?
Something from what was the layer again?
Well, we know exactly what demon. I just can't remember what it's called. It's not an Oinoloth. That was the pus one.
Orthan?
Orthan, yeah.
Then
An Orthan of some descript or something from that plane.
An
I
orphan,
don't
you
know.
say?
Something else.
The
that
orphan is
besides-
the creature that we're hunting.
Yes, but to get one it could be a completely different Orphan, but it will be bound to the same plane.
Yes, but any fiend from the same region of the Hells as an orphan would work.
Yeah. So that's why I said anything from that area as well. I just don't know right off the top of my head what else would be on that plane.
Anyway, she reaches into her bag and produces a small ruby vial, which she uncorks, looks inside. Need some blood. Is there someone with a more direct connection to this creature amongst your party?
I point at Gent.
They're like 5 sets of hands pointing at.
Yeah. How far away is Ghent from us?
About 60 feet right now.
All right. I send a message. I use a message cantrip and say, Ghent, could you spare a minute and step over here? We need a bit of your blood.
And I leave your brother with molten lead to play with.
Tell him not to touch it. That should be good enough. He's smart.
Don't burn yourself. I have to go talk to your brother.
I really kind of wish you just said.
Whole camp goes up in flames.
Brilliant.
I kind of wish you just said, "Could you come over here?" And then he comes over and we just stab him lightly in the arm.
Need to see
But
your
Gent will
hand.
come over. What can I help with?
Hold out the down.
Okay.
Ephraim's mom just slices your forearm real quickly, and then puts this ruby
I don't know
vial
what else
up
I
to
expected.
the cut and lets it bleed into it.
I did specify we needed some of your blood.
She corks it off. You should get that looked at. And then she walks back over to the magic circle.
Gent just turns to Valdeth and says, "Not a word," and goes back to making bullets.
At least let Titania heal it.
Yeah. Do a cure wounds.
So 1
Thank you,
point of
darling.
damage. So it's like
Okay, right. Zip.
It's overkill, but
she takes the vial, sets it down in the middle of the circle, steps back. All right, one very similar fiend coming up. And she puts her hands together, goes through a series of motions, and the magic circle glows red. And as it glows red, this smoke sort of begins to billow out from the vial, spins around and engulfs it, and spreads and spreads and spreads until this dome of smoke is filling the middle of this magic circle, which you can sort of like see the outline of where the magic circle's containment is. The smoke is so thickly piled inside it.
Just in the off chance, I cast at 4th level Intellect Fortress on myself and Titania.
She reaches into her bag and pulls out a small bit of charcoal and just flicks it into the smoke. And as the charcoal hits the smoke erupts in flame. There's just a large fireball contained by the magic circle, which dies down slowly. And standing in the middle of the circle is an orphan. It looks like it's about to start talking when your mother just goes, "Silence! I do not need your mouth." And it just lips shut.
shit.
All right,
Yes.
the fork
Hand it over.
takes it, and she will begin to attune one of your forks to the Orton. And that's where we're going to take a break. If you're watching on Twitch, please stay tuned for these commercial messages. And also remember, our breaks are your breaks. So stand up, stretch your legs, walk around, get a drink, get some food, whatever you need. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. We're back. I hope everyone enjoyed their break. We looked at a beer cup.
Just the one.
Just the one. So, Titania, Ithram, and Ithram's mom are currently attuning a fork to a demon. Gent is currently making ammo. Valdeth and Kalerna, what are the two of you doing?
Good.
Valdeth, I suppose, is probably just wandering the battleground, just sort of observing how this legion practices war, I suppose.
Okay. Jeremy?
Yeah, just kind of probably keeping close to with tuning, keeping an eye on that, because that, in case things go wrong.
Sure. So Kalerna, give me an insight check, and Valdeth, give me an investigation check. With your proficiency modifier, because it's investigating warriors.
I mean, I'm already proficient in investigation because you've made me roll investigation so many goddamn times.
In that case, never mind.
Insight, that thing that I am oh so good at.
I'm just better at insight.
I mean, 13. That's very good for me.
21.
So, Kalerna, you're sort of like watching this demon for any sign of like it breaking free, and it's weird. You've seen people summon creatures before. Typically, it's never a good thing. Even now, it's still questionable, but typically, every time you've seen somebody summon something, the summoned entity has still had some amount of agency.
Mm-hmm.
This demon appears to have none. Like, you can tell it wants to be moving around and talking, but cannot.
Okay.
Which just strikes you as odd.
Yeah.
Valdeth, this is a very well trained legion. Like, you're watching, like you've never really thought about like live fire practice like what they're doing. But as you're watching it, you're seeing people who are reacting not only to the things that their sparring partner is doing, but also to the subtle tells in the environment that say something else is about to happen around them. Like, you know, someone summons a lightning bolt, and these people are dodging out of the way of the lightning bolt before it hits, while still maintaining, you know, sparring distance with their opponent. It's this sort of it's a very like. It strikes you as a very unique way of training people and seemingly fairly effective, particularly if you're
training in the one thing you normally can't teach, which is battlefield awareness.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's you've never seen people teach battlefield awareness, particularly like this.
Highly interesting, and she will make note of it.
The attunement fork is now sort of hovering in the middle of the magic circle in front of the demon, and your mother sort of turns, looks at you. It's going to take an hour or so for this to fully attune. So you do not need to be here. I will maintain this control. So feel free to wander around. I will bring it to you later.
All right. Thank you. Is father back in the tent?
He should be, yes.
Okay. Turn and head over to, well, is there anywhere you would like to go, Titania?
Well, I don't know if things can be helped with the mining. I can do that, but I don't want to step on anyone's toes.
Yes. Mother, Titania was wondering if she has access to earth magics as well. She was wondering if the miners perhaps needed help. Or
any assistance.
Yes.
I appreciate it, but we've already mined the quota of our what we expect our tribute to be requested, plus a little extra. We don't want to mine too efficiently. This is a land of limited resources, and I appreciate the offer, but we typically do these by hand, specifically so we do not overmine or overharvest.
Fair. Okay.
It is very wise.
We have learned from other legions' mistakes, shall we say?
Is there any? Do you know of any area in the camp that needs any particular help with anything?
You go check out the gate and see if your sister has arrived. She will need to report to your father when she gets back.
Yes. So, yeah. Did you want to come with, or did you want to watch again?
Sure,
Teach my
yeah.
brother how to make bullets.
I'm afraid. That's
It is the first time I have ever heard you say that you are afraid of a particular situation. And I've seen you run into some pretty weird shit.
I was going to say, this does not seem like a thing that is normal for you.
But you know what? That's growth. And he pats you on the shoulder.
Thanks. I'm sure it'll be fine, but
I trust Gent.
That ice flower is melting, by the way.
I look down at it. No, I'd like to kind of see. This is all very different, so I'd like to see kind of things around, if you don't mind.
Yeah, wonder.
Come with.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he's headed to the gate, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shadowfront Hall.
Okay.
Just looking around at everything. Any sort of like animals, like there's no plants here. This is very strange to her. Like the whole land without agriculture.
Clarna as well.
Yeah,
Clarna as well.
Clarna's coming with.
Yeah.
So yeah, you look around. It's all hobgoblins as far as the eye can see.
Mm-hmm. There's no animals, anything like that.
Nope. No animals, no plants.
the bullets are stocked, are stabled.
That's right. I remember you saying that.
Yeah, you do see a stable. There's no bullets like visible in them.
Oh, to be fair, bullets burrow. So
I mean, yeah,
yeah,
underground.
Yep.
I mean, no, of course, there's not any. The bullets are being made.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gent, by the time you got back over to Ithram's brother, he had already like formed and packed a bullet by himself.
Good kid. I like this kid.
He seems to be catching on quickly.
Yeah, good. Yeah, no, it'll probably take us about an hour or two to craft the quantity of bullets that Gent's looking for, and yeah.
You can also see that there's an orphan standing stock still, not too far away.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, he just side-eyes that every 30 seconds or so. Make sure it hasn't moved too much.
After Valdeth gets her notes done, she will head over back to the chieftain's tent.
We'll go with Valdeth first. So Valdeth, you get to the chieftain's tent.
So Valdeth walks in. Ked, was it?
Warlord Kedvalar, yes.
Lord Ked. Wanted to ask before we settle down for the night. Would you like some assistance just in case the dragon gets ornery in a few days, or would you rather we be gone so there's no chance of them spotting us?
I appreciate the enthusiasm, but as you say, should the dragon spot outsiders, there's a very good chance that our tribute expectation will change.
Mm-hmm.
And we could not necessarily afford that.
Of course. We'll be gone in the morrow then.
Appreciate it. Though, as I say, if there's any assistance you require, please feel free to ask.
And to ask the question that likely every outsider who comes in here or ever interacts with any one of the legions asks, why live out here? Just for the challenge, or?
It's our home.
Fair. I just can't imagine that living with the constant threat of a dragon trying to eat all of you is exceptionally comforting.
It's not, no. But it is our land. It is our home. We fought for it. And it's not much, but it is a life. We send our children out into the world to experience it. They are free to stay out there if they desire, or to come home if they want. Most of them come home.
If you had the chance and the opportunity, would you kill that dragon?
Certainly. It would be a glorious fight. But I am very powerful. My wife more so. We are not as powerful as this dragon.
She stops and thinks for a second. You know, Everstone could use allies, especially right now. We're hurting. And your legion is impressive.
Thank you.
Particularly.
I designed the training regiment myself.
We could use something like that. And I'm not saying right now we're all perfectly capable of it because, quite frankly, I've seen what ancient dragons can do. But one day.
You got an up-close and personal view.
Yeah. But one day, when we're ready, I'd like to help you with that problem. And maybe form a companionship between Everstone and some of the Wandering Legions.
Well, I'm not going to promise you that all of the legions will be willing to listen. But the Duskreach would. We all have different reasons for calling this land our home. But regardless of those differences, it is our home.
I respect that. And I'd like to see it be your home without you living under a dragon's talon.
As would I.
Still. We'll make we'll make sure that we don't make life any harder for you, and we'll depart in the morning.
I appreciate it. I'm glad that Ithram has found what seems like a knowledgeable commander.
I do my best. All right, I'll get out of your hair.
Oh, please. There's plenty of it. He says as he sort of like shakes his head to the side and the ponytail.
She heads out.
So, Ithram, Titania, and Kalerna.
Yep.
You guys get out to the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Onkar is sort of sitting in a chair by the gate, whittling. I see you return to the gates. Are you leaving so soon, Ithram?
No, came to keep an eye out for Deirdre.
Yes. Well, we've been keeping an eye out for her for several days. Supposedly today is the day. But I don't have familiar like you do, so don't have eyes in the sky.
I could send Mel out. He's a jackal right now, so he'd be a little closer to the ground, but if it's not for a while, then...
Might get eaten by a worm.
Yes, so he'll begin to ritually cast Find Familiar to change Mal into a hawk like his normal form.
Good idea. Good idea.
Pulls out his brazier and starts it all up.
You could do some searching with my echo, but I can only go a certain range.
You have an echo?
Yes.
What does this look like?
Shomp.
Impressive, impressive. I have something similar, but not the same.
Really?
Yes. cast mirror image, and there's
Oh.
now like 4 of them.
Yes, that is. There is definitely some similarity.
He lets it drop.
Game of Nature doesn't give me specific numbers of people nearby. Would it give me a group, or is it not that specific? I can put the text.
I put the text in.
Yeah. So it just says prevalent plants, minerals, animals, or peoples.
You would detect groups of people. You wouldn't necessarily detect a singular entity.
Okay. Could I could use it to see if there is a group approaching.
Yeah,
though,
yeah, you could try.
I can see if they're sort of close, 3 miles, but
If you like.
And-
I was about to go flying myself, but
I could join you.
if you like. Do your spell first. We have not had many druids out here. I'm interested in watching.
Oh yeah. And she will she'll do it pretty no, that was a different spell. She'll kind of like start casting it. Anyone else who's seen her do it before, she's doing it slower, like very carefully, like, oh goodness, I'm like
Yeah.
showing off.
Yeah.
When I'm
While
like,
I can
cross
cast
all
this
the
normally as long as I don't
T's.
think about it, right?
Now I'm trying to think about it. Damn it, it's harder.
Yeah, while you're casting it, Ithram will be like, while unconventional, her magics are very, very potent.
I imagine.
Pick off a mushroom, eat it as I'm like.
So you cast Commune with Nature. You sit down, you put your hands down into the broken, rocky ground.
Yep.
Not able to quite sink it in like you've done with the dirt at home, but
Mm-hmm.
the first thing you get a sense of is this land feels dead.
Ugh. Okay.
Like you're used to you're used to back home in Tehran, where the land is very much alive, and thus it's very easy to tell when things feel wrong. But your mouth dries up as you're sitting here as you're communing with the land around you. You feel like you feel your skin tightening as your skin dries out a little bit. And it just there's just a sort of a wave of sadness and despair that washes over you as you connect with the landscape of desolation. And you sort of feel that the name is far more appropriate than anybody else would possibly think that it could be.
In this particular case, Woody Guthrie was full of shit.
But you still can pick out, amongst this dead land, you can still pick out signs of life. And you immediately understand now why this place would be very bad to stay for a druid.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, other than the group that you're currently in, there is no large populations nearby within 3 miles. So it doesn't seem like there's any sort of like large group heading towards the camp or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Was it a small group that went out? Or a bigger one?
Just the one. Deirdre works very well on her own.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No, I can't pick anything out. That doesn't mean she's not close. It's bigger with more life around.
Yes. Still worth a shot.
Yeah.
Let's wait for Mal.
Okay.
After a few minutes, Mal
59 minutes later.
is now a hawk.
Yep, I'll send him out and tell him to keep an eye out for Deirdre.
Ankar stands up and sort of like rolls his shoulders a little bit, and as he does, from behind him, you see a pair of draconic wings just spread out and flap. There's these golden scaled dragon wings just sort of stretch for a little bit. All right. Well, I'll follow Mal. Are you coming with Princess Titania?
Yes. Just thinking something that would draw too much attention.
A bird?
Look through things. Yeah, I'll do a vulture probably. So I will shift.
All right. Ankar takes off, his wings flapping. You follow.
Oh.
You and Mal follow,
Yep.
and begin scouting. Go ahead and give me perception checks for Mal and for you in your vulture form.
Yes. In this case, would I be using mine because it is.
You're using your wisdom, but if your vulture has any like bonuses to perception, you'd get that.
Let me check here. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Vulture. That's not how you spell vulture.
All right.
Like if the vulture is proficient, you
Yeah.
would add your proficiency kind of thing.
Mal rolled a 20.
I have advantage.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I get. Okay. Perception. $24.
All right. And he rolls pretty well. So yeah, all three of you get to a certain height and just sort of start gliding. And all three of you pretty quickly see off in the distance, probably about 30 minutes out from the camp, a very well built, similarly built to Ithram, female hobgoblin, black hair tied in a Dutch braid that hangs down to about her waist, wearing yellow robes, very loose fitting, with a sort of a bandolier of what look almost like small metal shards hanging off of it, and a large, crudely built but strangely elegant longsword, just sort of gripped in a reverse grip in one hand, and she is motoring across the landscape. You figure she's probably moving at about 100 and probably about over 100 feet per round.
Shit. Staying far above, but kind of keeping an eye. I might be looking to see if she's running from anything, because
You sort of get a glance. Motoring.
I'm saying, yes. The second you said it, I really, really wanted to sing some Night Ranger.
Fair. Doesn't seem like she's running from anything in specific.
okay. Then probably as she keeps moving, just kind of staying far above range, not to seem like a threat or anything, but like just keeping an eye in case anything comes up and tries to attack her.
No, and she's moving faster than Ithram. You remember her being able to move.
Yeah.
And then either of you have really seen anybody unmagically modified move.
She's no fucking wizard.
No, she's not.
Nope.
The monk.
Yep, probably.
Well, she should be back shortly. Ankar says.
Agreement.
Just kind of no-selling the sprinting hobgoblin.
I don't know. I did trace a faint touch of annoyance in there.
Not annoyance, surprise. He knows she's fast. He didn't realize she was that fast. She's moving 150. She's moving 150 feet per round because Step of the Wind is a thing.
Yep.
50-foot move speed, double dash.
Yeah. Mal will probably get within like 60 feet above her just because she'd probably recognize Mal.
By the time Mal is 60 feet above her, she's 150 feet beyond Mal.
Yeah, because he can only dash 120.
Yeah, no, she's way faster than any of the flyers. Ankar begins flying back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll follow.
Yeah, the only thing that can keep pace with her is an actual dragon with their 80-foot fly speed.
Yeah.
I will raise you a quickling.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
She
Wouldn't
is a
even need to
quickling.
dash.
240 feet per round.
Or
Yeah,
a
wouldn't even
tabaxi.
need to dash.
Right?
Yeah, I was
yep.
gonna say particular types of tabaxi.
Yeah.
I was talking like common monsters, in particular flyers.
Sure.
But yes, a
Sure,
quickling
sure.
can run that fast too, and so can a tabaxi doing similar builds.
Tabaxi. Tabaxi just goes meep meep.
Basically.
Oh, no, I want to create a tabaxi. Fucking.
Just a tabaxi monk named Runs on Roads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, legit.
Runs on roads.
Khajiit will race if you have coin.
Khajiit will win if you have coin. So yeah, Ankar turns and flies back. The flyers and her, because she can't maintain that pace the entire time because key points are a finite resource. So
Fair.
so the flyers and her get to the gate at roughly the same time, and without even saying a word, Ankar produces a knife from somewhere and flings it at her. The sword comes up, intercepts the knife, just almost looks like it just barely taps it, and the knife just begins spinning. And with her free hand, she reaches up, grabs it, and flings it back at Ankar, who catches it. And then he whistles, and the doors open.
With his shoulder. No, I'm just kidding.
And she stops on the inside of the gate, looking at Kalerna, confused, because there weren't any drow in the camp when she first left. When she left.
Hello.
Walk down the
Hello.
wall.
Welcome. Oh, Ithrim, I see you're here.
Yes, this is Kalerna Elani.
Oh,
She is one of my companions.
a pleasure to meet you.
She's a knight of the Azure Legion.
He gives like sort of a nod. That approving nod.
Right.
I take it you have brought more guests than Ithrim.
Yes, the entirety of the company. Well, not the entirety, but most of the company that I'm a part of in Taram.
Titania, do you unvulturize?
No, I'm still a vulture.
Just sitting on the palisade looking
Yeah,
down.
and
Yeah.
not even missing a beat. Ithrim's gonna go, and that is Titania Valkorian, Princess of Taram.
Taram's princess is a bird?
For now.
Taram's princess is
Then
not
I will
always
dramatically
In that,
re
yeah.
myself.
a bird. Oh, I see.
Hey,
Hello.
hello.
I have to report to father, so I will catch up
Yes.
later.
Yes, no worries.
She's at the tent already.
Dust cloud.
Yeah, basically.
No, what she needs is just 2 levels of rogue so that she can just dash for free as a bonus action.
Right?
Mm.
Sorry, just a line of dust she get between where she was standing and the tent.
And Ithrim's just like, she got faster.
Hey,
Family
Was she always fast? Valdeth asks as she approaches the gate.
Yes, not quite that fast, though.
Deirdre is one of the very few monks that our legion has ever produced. We're very proud of her. She's very skilled, particularly with the sword.
Kensei monk.
Yes. Well, I hope you all enjoy your evening. And he
Yes.
sort of like wanders towards the battlefield.
All right. Did you speak? I saw you wander off, Valdeth. Did you have anything you need? Did you still want to ask my father?
I already did.
All right, that makes sense.
definitely got his suggestion that it'd probably be better and safer for the Legion if we took off as soon as possible. So we'll head out in the morning.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop by the armory before I head back to the tent. If anybody needs anything.
Yeah, Valdeth, you wanted to make sure you took a look, right?
Sorry, say again?
For weapons?
Oh.
Wanted to look.
Yeah, I could take a look, see what the Legion puts together.
So you
Follow me then. Should be in the same general area as we normally set it up.
I'm going to make sure Gent hasn't murdered anyone.
Yes, please make sure my brother has no new burn wounds.
Mm.
And if he does, please heal them.
Will do.
By the time you get back to the forge, Gent is pretty far along in his bullet making, and Ithram's brother has made not a working one, but a facsimile of a pistol.
Whoa.
Yep. Which Gent is currently detailing basically rough instructions on how you would make this functional.
We do not have the materials to make tiny springs like that, but we could. I mean, the cylinder works. Could I use a small hammer and just hit it with my hand?
Potentially, yes. You would need some level. It's not going to go very far, but you'll still get the transition of force to a missile.
Or perhaps some sort of a chisel and hammer to amplify the force into a specific point.
Or a rod attached to something elastic, similar to a crossbow.
It feels like it's getting bulkier, but
it would be.
It could extend the barrel and make it more like a crossbow, hold it with two hands. It would also help with the accuracy.
Experimentation is going to be very key in these future pursuits. I'm proud of you.
You need to build some sort of a screw bit. I could add rifling
for drilling purposes.
Yes, I could add rifling to the interior of the barrel.
When the projectile spins, you do get a more accurate trajectory on that.
Mara, whatever you just said was completely muted.
That's because I didn't actually. I just whistled.
Okay.
There was no sound. It's okay.
There was no sound. Yeah, Tanya, that's what you walk in on.
Yeah, and she's going to observe that for a brief moment to make sure that everyone still has their same number of fingers and everything, and then just excuse because I don't understand any of that.
There's a moment where you suddenly panic and try to remember how many fingers hobgoblins are supposed to have.
5 or 4?
It's 5, and he has all 5.
Okay.
It's like, oh god, he became a freak in my absence.
He's mutated already.
But Valdeth and Ithram, you find the armory. It's fully stocked, but no magical weapons. It's all standard stuff. You can get a great axe.
Yeah. I'll grab one of those, and yeah. Is there anything in particular you were looking for, Valdeth, or just?
I just wanted to see what the weapons were like.
Yes, the metal quality out here is difficult to refine. Hence the color and texture of the metals, but.
I can imagine, but it looks like your smiths are doing an excellent work with the materials they've got their hands on.
Yeah, it's not as the silhouettes are not as refined as you would find in other places. They're very blocky and jagged, but the metal works. It's sort of like a slap together the metal as best you can, and then make sure it holds an edge.
And once they're actually done being forged, they all do have like a slightly burnt patina to them.
I wonder what would happen if I were able to get good metals out here to your Legion.
Oh, it'd be wonders.
Better weapons.
Yeah.
Now that I'm the thane of a fucking house, I have to think of these things like trade deals and allies.
Sounds tedious.
Like Ithram, you know you're standing at the primary source of metal ore in Desolation right now.
Yeah. This is where most of all of the metals that we use come from. So very.
I look
sparse
out at that
over there.
mountain. You said most of the metal, like a lot of the metal, was visible from the exterior.
Yeah, it's not a mountain; it's a pillar.
Yeah. Can I roll stone cunning to see how how shit quality that metal is?
Go ahead.
Add double my proficiency. I'm assuming like a history check or investigation.
Nature actually.
All right, so add double proficiency to this. So add 8. So add 8 is 17.
You're pretty certain that's like the tip of a meteorite that you're seeing.
And
Like this-
Siderite is workable metal, but it's not highest quality.
Yeah, like it's not the best quality iron that you're gonna find, but it's a workable source of it, and there's probably a fairly large lodestone like underneath the ground, like from like the rest of it, because that's definitely not the entirety of the thing. That's just like sort of a spike of it from where it deformed on impact.
You're probably looking mostly at siderite coming out of that. Looks like a meteoric impact. So it's not the best metal, but it's not the worst, and there's certainly a lot of it in there.
It's done well for our Legion so far, but
I mean, siderite will do that. I'm not surprised at the jagged quality of the weapons coming out with that metal. It's hard to work because it's contaminated with everything else that was in the meteor.
you could probably, if it would be in your interests, talk to the smiths to see if in either here or in Everstone, to if they have any knowledge on how to make it easier to work.
I have Smith's proficiency. Might I have some ideas that might improve working with siderite with stone cunning?
They may not have already figured out.
Looking at what they're producing, there's probably not much you could give them that would make it easier for them.
Mm-hmm. Like all I could get them is better metal.
Yeah, like what based on the quality of what you're looking at in the armory, the thing that they
this is about the best they can make with siderite.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, your smiths are working at about their highest capacity with the metal they've been given. But if I could work out some interesting trades, we could get some better metal out here.
I will let you discuss that with my father at some point.
Eventually, we're going to kill that dragon.
That would be nice.
And once that dragon's dead and no longer a danger to everything out here, it'd be possible to get some real relationships out here. And Everstone could trade good metals with this Legion in exchange for some of that impressive training that you people do.
Yes, I've noticed that the regular guards and even soldiers, the inexperienced ones in the travels, don't react quite as level-headed when magic or any type of, I don't know, artillery, I guess you would say, is in the same battlefield.
Yeah, that level of battlefield awareness is something you typically can't train into someone. The innovation that your Legion has come up with doing that is incredible and well worth some good ore.
It is good to know. I've got this though, and he kind of, how long does it take? Is it an hour or a minute for Eleni's Infinite Army?
Short rest.
Oh, short rest. All right, never mind. He won't pop it into the pocket dimension then.
No.
Just lugs it over his shoulder.
So you all eventually wind down. Is there anything else anyone wants to do before you take a long rest?
I'll just visit with my family for a little bit.
Your mom gives you.
If my life is a serial killer now.
Well, you have to be Mormon for that.
My God. No, that just helps.
Yeah. Your mother gives you the attuned fork, so you now have one fork that is attuned to the 9 hells.
Okay. I will put that
As
in
you know,
the...
that's everybody's first choice vacation spot.
Yep.
Again, you did see before you left the forge. You did see the Orthan just evaporate in flames.
Okay, he feels a little bit better about that. That's probably the point in the story where he's telling Ithram's brother, and that's when I found out that apparently my uncle was wearing the face of
My
some
God.
super important mage who's engaged in blood magic up in the Arctic.
It sounds like you've had a very terrible life.
Thank you.
Man, your life sucked. Thank you.
Somebody recognizes this.
But at least you have 2 girlfriends.
That is absolutely worth all of it.
I think that's a lie, but not a bad one.
Well, it's important to tell lies to yourself to get through the day sometimes.
I try not to.
If you can avoid it, absolutely.
So, you all eventually bed down for a long rest.
Mm-hmm.
Gent.
Yeah.
Wow.
While you are asleep, you wake up sitting in an ornately decorated dining room at one end of a completely decked out table, wearing fine clothes, with a large fireplace at the far end crackling and soft, like, orchestral music playing in the background. There's a half-eaten plate in front of you. Feels like you've probably been eating it.
Okay. Looking around the room, seeing if I'm alone.
You're not. There's another figure in the room, standing by the fireplace, holding a glass of wine. Ah, I see you've come to, as it were. Welcome.
Does he happen to go like this and have eyeballs?
No.
Okay, good.
No, he's a light-skinned humanoid individual, blonde hair, slicked back, sort of grayish eyes. The head seems a little too tall for a human, though. Like it's fairly tall forehead with like sort of particular veins on it.
Right. Weird cranial structure.
Looks kind of like Max Headroom.
Okay, that makes me feel so much better.
Yeah.
I just thought of Morbo from Futurama for no particular reason.
Yes, it appears I have.
Well, I hope you're comfortable. You certainly were enjoying the meal before your consciousness followed your body.
You have me at a disadvantage.
Ah, yes. I do apologize. I do sometimes forget that not everyone knows everyone's names and all. You can call me... As I look at my names and try to remember which one it is. No, it's no. Where was the name? It was a good name, and I can't remember it anymore. I didn't.
Him.
No, it was. Well, fuck it. He's got a new name now. You can call me Alralon.
Aurelon it is.
And you, Gent Manar, have a problem. One that I think I can solve. As he walks
Alright.
as he walks the length of the table and pulls up a seat next to where you're sitting, you realize you're not armed. Your guns
Mhm.
are nowhere to be found.
Right.
So I've come forward to offer a proposition, as it were. You are currently being hunted by a very, very angry devil. One who doesn't even know why he's angry at you because, well, you were a little naughty and pulled a card out of a deck.
All right.
Now,
And your solution to this would be?
well, a favor for a favor. I happen to know who that devil is. And I happen to be in a position to rearrange their fixation, as it were. Move the target of their obsession presented by the deck to a different target, one that is not you or any of your loved ones. Does that sound like something you
Alright.
might be interested in?
Potentially.
Yes, if so that there would not be any further tragic cases such as what happened with poor Ariel.
Ariel, but yes.
Thank you.
Of course.
The asshole could at least pronounce my name right.
He pronounced it. He pronounced
Says
it as
the
it
ghost that's hanging around.
You've only ever
somewhere,
seen
I
her
assume.
name in writing,
Yeah,
haven't you?
yeah, exactly. You've never seen it in writing.
I'm so pleased.
He just said it how it looks.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no. Not his fault necessarily.
No, of course. Such a favor is not without a favor in return.
Which in this case would be?
There is a particular annoyance that I would like dealt with. One that, truth be told, should be no stain on your conscience, on your morals or ethics. There's a power-hungry devil at work in Terra that I would very much appreciate being gone.
Fucker.
All right.
So it's sort of a
Devil for a devil?
Yes, you deal with mine, I deal with yours.
And better the devil you know. Do we have a name for this Tyrian fiend?
I don't know his true name, but I know he goes by Kalar Gall.
Oh. We've met.
Mm.
Is this a professional rivalry by any chance?
Yes. Not necessarily that I want in on his turf so much as his presence makes certain deals very difficult to make.
Well, I understand the nature of the trade. It does occur to me that while there have been a number of unpleasant circumstances regarding the individual whose attention I have caught, his primary organization, at least, is in a different dimension, whereas Kalar Gall's is very much physically present on the plane of reality that I generally tread.
Yes. But that shouldn't be too big of a deal for such stalwart adventurers as you and the Steelhearts.
Flattery appreciated, but the fact remains, I honestly feel like taking on Kalar Gall would be an assumption of greater rather than lesser risk.
Well,
Unless, of course, there's extra information of which I am unaware.
well, I can tell you that the devil that has your name in his pocket, as it were, is something of a tactician, a battlefield commander type. One who prefers to send his armies to do his bidding rather than do his dirty work himself. Which means that you're already fighting an organization led by a devil. It's just that this organization is coming to you. In greater and greater numbers, I'm sure you've seen. You see, the card that you drew allowed him to break through the divine veil that separates the 9 hells from the material realm. He's on your world now.
Right.
And him being there means that he can summon all of his pets from the 9 hells and the abyss to him.
So I take it you're going to divert his attention to someone, as it were, back home.
I have a person in mind that would receive the attention very well. And once his tender care was delivered, his obsession would be relinquished, and he would be much easier to bring back under heel. The unfortunate side effects of that particular card resonate rather violently throughout certain societies, shall we say.
So just to have all cards on the table, pardon the pun, you'll divert the attention of my current devil to someone else, and after he accomplishes killing that person or capturing or whatever, then in all likelihood he will go back to the abyss.
If not
with all of his friends.
If not immediately, very shortly thereafter, yes.
There's an important detail that's being missed here that I'm not there to tell you.
And
shut up, Peanut Gallery.
A couple of follow-up questions. Who is this person you have in mind for him to otherwise target?
Oh, no one of any consequence.
You seem a very learned and intelligent person, but I feel in this case that is a decision I would need to make for myself, whether or not it was of consequence.
Fair. Let me put it to you this way. How many more friends would you rather lose? Because he's very persistent.
Oh, I'm sure he is. And in all likelihood, there is the possibility that I would lose more. The sort of follow-up question to my initial is, could I put forward a candidate for the attention to be diverted toward?
That's an intriguing counteroffer. Go on.
There's a necromancer by the name of Simon.
That's doable.
All right. How soon do you need an answer on this?
Whenever you're ready. Simply call out to Alralon, and I'll be there.
Excellent. Well, this has been very enlightening, and I do appreciate the meal as well.
Of course.
Fantastic. Compliments to the chef, which I assume is you, but if not, please pass those along.
Absolutely.
All right. You'll probably have your answer within 24 to 48 hours.
I'm sure I will. And, as I said, hopefully this is a win-win situation for us all.
It very well may be. I appreciate you reaching out. I didn't think I was garnering that much attention.
Well, there's something of a spiritual vortex, as it were, occurring in your wake, so...
No, that's in my game.
Attentions are drawn where attentions are needed.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Yes. I'll be watching. And you wake up in bed.
I just reach out and grab whoever's closest.
Either Valdeth or Tanya.
Or Ithram or Kalerna. It's a very small tent.
It's a small tent, probably, right? Yeah.
Someone gets grabbed.
Ugh. What's up?
I just had a dream, and it might solve one problem. It might create a number of others. Let's get everybody awake for at least the next 10 minutes.
Oh boy. More vision dreams. All right. Everybody
Is
up.
this a vision more of a side trip?
Already getting up.
Titania.
Still sleeping.
Shake Titania.
She's gone cold. Okay.
She's
What?
dead?
Winter.
Oh, okay.
Season change.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, once everybody's awake and conscious, Gent will relay the scope of what just happened.
Fucking hell.
Whoa.
Quite literally, as it turns out.
And apparently we've got some confirmation that Cal Argal is a fiend of some sort. So that's
I'm
interesting.
not remotely surprised.
And the
No.
barrier thing. That doesn't sound good. It's been broken? What? Okay.
Pretty
Well, for this one particular demon who's
Yes.
after his head.
Yes, it appears
Yeah.
that those cards are.
But that devil can pull more in his wake, apparently. So yes, the barrier
Counter
has been
argument.
broken.
We know he's on this plane now. We can maybe find him directly and kill him.
Conceivably, although this Alrolan character did make the point that one archdevil is in charge of a military force of his own choosing, training, and summoning, and the other one, while powerful, is more, at least somewhat, economically rather than martially so.
A mercantile devil.
Yes. Which in some ways is worse, but in terms of practical confrontation is probably easier.
How much political power does the Argal Trading Company have in the city of Tehran, though?
Do I know?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay. A lot.
So you're not just going to be fighting the Argal Trading Company, you're going to be fighting every string he can pull.
Yes. If we confront him directly and announce ourselves ahead of time.
Or if people figure out who did it. I mean...
Oh, that's quite possible, but we're killing, in this case, we'd be killing, destroying, whatever, Cal Argal. We're not killing the Argal Trading Company. It'll still exist, and someone, I am sure, will be more than pleased to take his position over and may even thank us for clearing the way for their succession.
Or want us dead because we just killed the person at the head of the company, which often implies that you want the company to suffer.
Like I said, this is the choice I've been presented.
As much as I'm not fond of the idea of a fiend sitting in power in Gran Terra, I'm less fond of being public enemy number one for killing him. Whereas this other demon might have an organization of demons at his beck and call, but is a demon out in the open and thus public enemy number one to the entire material plane. And no one will hate us for killing him.
We don't so much need to kill either. We just need to return them to the original plane.
Well, the one that's after Gant right now keeps reappearing, right?
Well, he's never died. The one that's after Gent isn't, as far as we've been told, is not this Orphan. The Orphan is one of his subordinates.
Yes, if we can.
But the implication was clear that as long as this archdevil, can I make a religion check? I assume Gent knows that if you kill a demon or a devil on the material plane, they can usually just reform in their.
You guys have confirmed that in character previously, so yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So yes, we would have to get the archdevil that's after me back to
We would have to
hell
locate,
itself
yes.
and kill him there. Because if we kill him here, the magic of the card is still active, and he can just.
Do we know that?
He'll most likely
According
still
to
have his ire at
Alrelon's-
least.
Yes, according to Alrelon's statements on how this thing works, that
Well-
demon has an open door because I pulled a card.
Well, if you have reiterated that conversation back to me as accurately as you think you have, what he said was that pulling the card let him open the door. Did not necessarily say that he would keep opening that door if you sent him back.
Can I make an Arcana or something check to see what I think the underlying principle there is?
Sure, we are gonna check.
Yeah, could I do the same?
Yeah, both.
Okay.
I
God,
have
just
an
for
inspiration,
fun.
so I might re-roll this.
Wow. I'm
I'm
gonna re-roll that because I have. An
I got a
inspiration.
28, which is almost as good as I can get.
Hey, 28.
Hey! So Gent and Ithram at the same time say.
Nope, don't know anything.
Yeah, with a 12, you're not certain, Clarina.
No, that was a joke about them saying at the same time and then leaving
Yeah.
it hanging.
Because it was 28, but the DC was 30. Nice
Um,
try.
With the 28, the way the cards work, as far as you're aware, is that whatever end point that they want to happen, they will make happen.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that means if you send it back to hell, it'll just come right back immediately, you don't know. That's sort of an experiential thing that you'd have to check out. But just because the card has been pulled doesn't not mean the magic is done.
Okay. So yeah, there's
Maybe
probably a
if-
couple minutes conversation of
Yeah,
Gent and
Yeah.
Ithram explaining
Like-
things over each other, but arriving to similar conclusions.
maybe if you destroyed the deck, that might be enough to make him to end whatever magic it has that is pulling him back, or it might just make it even harder to stop it.
Mhm.
Do we still have the deck?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
Gent's got it in his pocket.
Still need to see if your father apparently can destroy that deck.
Mhm.
That destroy all of the cards that have been pulled already, or
Mm,
no? I
knows?
don't think.
No effects.
The issue with destroying the deck, of course, is does that mean the end condition of the Archdevil's obsession is suddenly no longer a factor, and it'll just continue.
Oh,
That does seem quite the roll of the dice.
Yes.
Although, if in that same theoretical vein that you just gave me of the deck's magic still being in effect, allowing him to come back, if his obsession isn't lifted but the deck's magic isn't in effect and you kill him, he goes back and doesn't have a door back anymore.
Potentially. Or potentially not. The door's existence was instigated by the existence of the deck, and it might only be able to be closed as long as the rules of the deck still apply. Therefore, destroying the deck might suspend the rules of the deck, and it might never be able to be closed.
that.
There is a lot we don't know for certain in this whole thing.
I'd still rather not make a political enemy of Tehran by going after Cal Argal.
All right.
There is a spell.
But that's my opinion. Because the demon is an obvious enemy. Cal Argal is someone who has friends, and friends in high places. And dealing with him, trying to go toe-to-toe with him, will have far-reaching consequences.
There is a whole trust component to this as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah, and we don't know how much we can trust whoever this person offering this deal is.
Do
I
we have
could-
is
split
a
golden eyes or anything like that?
He had like weird white eyes. Like the irises were very clearly there, but they were like white.
so it was basically solid and then pupil,
Yeah.
more or less, almost.
Well, it's like
Yep.
outline of iris.
Yeah.
Some
Okay,
iris
gotcha.
lines and then pupil.
Yep. Slight texture variations.
What I'm saying is, do we think this is connected to, stuff that happened when we were first?
Honestly, he struck me as more of a extremely powerful arcane entity. Granted, the ability to disguise one's true nature is something that many, many creatures can do, but whoever this Aurelon is did not give the initial impression, at least, of being anything angelic, devilish, or demonic.
I have enough incense left for one more. If this individual is of notable reputation, to see if I could figure anything out, much like I figured out.
Yeah, I was
how
about
we
to
found
say
out
those of
about-
us with, divinatory styles of magic might want to look into our options here.
I was just gonna say, I realize it is the shoddiest shot in the shoddy dark, but does the name ring anything that I could roll a history or arcana or religion
You
or
could make a
I don't know, animal handling?
You make a, yeah, so Kalerna, you could make a history roll if you wanted.
Also, I do have a recently acquired spell that could mask you from. It may not. I don't know how the artifacts magic works exactly, but.
So with a 15, you've heard the name Alverlon before.
Okay.
You don't remember what the context was, but it was some sort of narrative, like fiction narrative from your homeland, from Avalon. It's like the name of
Huh.
It's the name of some sort of like.
Sauron was a vampire.
No,
who in
no.
Sunlight sparkles.
It was the name, as far as you can remember, it was the name of some sort of significant figure in a fictional narrative from your homeland. That's as far as you can remember.
I am
A Merlin figure in your local Arthurian myth.
Moderately, I have reason to be suspecting that this may not be the person's real name.
Oh, yes, no. The way he said, "You can call me Aurelon," which usually does not signify that this is actually my name.
No, that is the name of a fictional character where I am from.
What's
Could
the
be
story
based
about?
on I do not recall.
Damn
I
it.
mean, we could
I did not read many fiction.
I mean, we
when I
could
was young.
do the same thing that we did to find out about Galadir with the last time we used this spell, and
I'll
you
give
remember his-
as good a physical description of this character as I possibly can.
I mean, also Ithram can just enter your mind and read your memory of him.
Oh, that's true. Yep. That's how we did it last time.
I'll cast Detect Thoughts, and then spend 10 minutes casting Legend Lore. Set up the ivory in the four corners, and light the smoke, and wait for it to fill the little pyramid, and see if that gets any hits.
That image comes back as the image of Alrelon, a character popular in Avalonian fictional narratives that is a recurring sort of like Gandalf-esque character for the for us on this side. Like sort of like a enigmatic, all-powerful magic user that pops in occasionally to direct the plot of various narratives that they are in.
Just pops in to go, hey, you guys good? All right, good. And then leaves.
Calls in giant eagles at one point, that kind of thing, may or may not be directly connected to a god of some kind. It's
fucking Saturnine.
Yeah, it's a Merlin, a Gandalf, that kind of a
Elminster,
Fistendantalus.
that kind of a character, and that's all you get. You get no indication if this is a real person or not.
Yeah.
Didn't Fistendantalus have the really unfortunate nickname?
Which unfortunate nickname is that?
I recall him having a
Fistendantalus is kind of an unfortunate name in the first place.
Nickname just as is. Yep.
I mean, I think I'm remembering the correct character. I know it's been a while since I've read Dragon.
Fistendantalus, also known as the Dark One.
Yep.
Okay, that's not the one I'm thinking of.
These, much like Kalina said, that image, and I came up with that same name, but it is mostly fictional character.
Well,
apparently not.
Avalon. Well,
or they're hiding.
Yes, it is very easy to actually mask one's
illusion
presence.
magic, right? Yes,
that's what I was going to suggest for you, Gent. I have something that cast over on you over a month could hide you from such divination spells, but I don't know how. I don't know how the artifact's magic will work, and if it will actually make it any harder.
Hurt.
Sorry, I was thinking of Fizbin.
Oh.
The absent-minded dude who was actually a god in disguise.
Fizbin the Fabulous.
Yes.
But that
I mean, they're both from Dragonlance, so
yes, and they're very similar sounding names, and they're both directly revolving around the heroes of the Lance. So that's why I was confused. I need to read this again.
All right, this is actually. Let's. Would you want to try this spell?
Sure.
All right.
Wait.
It changes the aura around him and how he's perceived by certain spells.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast Nistel's magic aura on Gent.
Okay.
And we're gonna use the mask property, so that to spells and magical effects, he appears as. Let's see. He's going to appear as a plant-based creature.
Yes.
And
you are a plant.
He's going to appear as a plant-based creature named Aurelon, because that's the most recent name that was just used. That will last one day. If we do that every day, say before we set up camp for the night, after about a month, it should be effective until dispelled.
Perfect.
He looks the same.
Just be sure not to be targeted by any. You would have spells that deal more damage to plants or plant-based.
Wait,
creatures.
what? You turned him into a plant?
That's how he will appear to magic, and like if you were to.
So if you cast
dodge the blight spell at all costs.
If you cast blight on Gent, blight will consider Gent a plant.
Oh. Okay.
It's specifically divination spells that reveal false information, not all spells.
Oh, okay.
That's good. That's good.
He's not suddenly a plant for the terms of being extra damaged.
That would be awesome if that was how it was.
That would
great.
Casting Nistel's magic aura and
than...
declaring someone an undead does not suddenly make them susceptible to turning.
That would be
good.
awesome
That's
if it
good.
was.
That would be way overpowered for a second level spell.
I was going to say, Nistel's Magic Aura suddenly becomes a vital tool in every druid's
Sorry.
battle.
So
I don't have it. So
Divinate-
I
No,
don't get access to it.
it's a wizard spell anyway.
So anybody looking for a half elf named Gitmanar will no longer find them. They will find the Elrond, the plant.
Should I
If you need to
start
find
carrying
me, look under plants under
Should I
Elrond.
start carrying a plant around to like
No,
really
he's-
sell the decoy?
No,
he's
this
fine.
is the equivalent of forged papers letting a merchant into a city. It doesn't change who
Oh,
the merchant
okay.
actually is,
Yes.
and that they're a smuggler, really, because that's who I am. Let's be honest.
Elrond is smuggling Ghent.
Okay. I think I get it. Magic is okay. This gives
Wonderful.
us more time at least.
Titania,
Magic is
you have
fantastic.
specifically magics that can tell us if specific plans and actions are going to be a good or a bad idea, correct?
Yes.
You want to find out if taking up this Aurelon figure up on his deal is a good idea or not?
Yeah, hang on, I have to meditate. Because I switched spells again really quick. God. I had a list. Damn it. Alright.
As the party tactician is like, hey, manage our magical resources to figure out our problems, please.
Yeah. Which one do I want to get rid of? I really want polymorph because I want to turn something into a dinosaur. Can't get rid of that.
Priorities.
Yeah, listen.
see if
I
this
will
plan will
not.
save my boyfriend, turn someone into a dinosaur.
No.
Dinosaur, definitely dinosaur.
Dinosaur. I've got plants. Okay, let me double check which one is going to be most useful here. Do-do. Yeah, augury. It's not very specific.
If you've got more powerful ones that'll ask better questions, we can use
Yeah,
those.
I'm double checking that because I don't know. Divination, what's that one? do?
Divination lets you actually
a
contact
question.
someone and ask questions. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
But
yeah.
divination has to be something that's going to happen within 7 days.
Yeah.
I mean, you intended to answer the deal within 24 hours, so
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, I'll prepare divination and cast it.
Okay.
Here we go. There.
Who are you asking?
Oh God.
That is the
One
question.
of them.
Yeah.
the God Emperor.
I
I don't
gotta
know.
find your list of gods here, because it's not the last one.
Titania's just like,
Divinity Guide.
which one of you assholes is up this late?
Right.
You up? WYD.
There's
You've
the
got
divinity
Kor,
guide. Thank you.
Bauner, Argon, Elianarathus, Marduk, the Sundered God, the Elemental Chaos, Eidos, Iradnir, Valkyr, Eferti, Dagoth, Larithia, Kultir, Rethorb, and all the other
Ask
minor
Rethorb.
ones. You could also ask Everstone or Impulse or the Lady of the Lake
Or the God Emperor.
or the God Emperor.
Yeah. The same with the God Emperor.
Isn't there a god? Isn't one of those gods a god of knowledge?
Yeah, I think Larithia is.
Yeah,
Secrets
Larithia is
and
like
Truths.
secret truths. That seems like a good god to ask things.
Yep. Yeah. So Titania's gonna contact Larithia and ask.
So you give an appropriate sacrifice, and what is your question?
Is what will happen if we take this deal that the entity calling itself
Aurelon.
has offered to Ghent to murder to get rid of Cal Argal. What will that do?
You get back in just sort of in your brain.
Mhm.
the entity will hold up its end of the bargain if you are able to hold up yours. And that's it. And with that, we will be ending for this week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.